us on all walks of life can always come back to basics. And so I'm happy for myself to come back to basics and learn a bit about self-care with Clara. Clara is, again, a coach and community builder who crafts transformative spaces that invite clarity, connection, and purpose. Thank you, Clara. As our community and social media manager, she's one of the voices behind our social channels, our alumni emails, as you know, and then our WhatsApp community. And she is continually tending to the threads of connection and integration. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for walking us through this hour. And I'm excited to pass it over and learn from your beautiful wisdom.
Oh, thank you. That was a lovely intro. Thank you, Sarah. And hi, Lisa. I think I've seen you in some of the calls. And I'm honestly very excited and grateful to be here today. As Sarah said, I'm one of the voices behind the channels, and I'm excited to be here, like hosting a call and sharing some of the things that I've learned along the years. Not only that I, share, my professional life, but also things and tools that I use in my everyday life as well. So as Sarah said, we're going to be exploring the art of self-care. But before we get started, I would love for us to do a short and sweet breathing exercise just to help us survive this moment, to ground us and to focus our attention. So get comfortable. Start by closing your eyes if you want. If you prefer, you can leave them slightly open with a soft focus, just looking downward in front of you. And allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften. And take a deep breath in through your nose and a long out breath through your mouth. And do this a few times at your own pace until you feel that your body starts to relax, to arrive here. And now bring your breath back to its normal rhythm and see if you can start paying attention to the different phases of your breathing cycle. The inhale, the pause at the top, the exhale, and the pause at the bottom. Breathing in and breathing out. Do this a few times without forcing anything. Just following your normal breathing cycle. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, and now to finish this practice, let's take a deep breath in through the nose together. And a long breath out through the mouth. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. Okay, let's get started. I want to start by saying that at least I believe that self-care, it's not just a checklist, right, of things that we do or things that need to be done at certain times of the day or the week. I really like to consider it an art, right? It's a practice of listening deeply to what our body, our heart, our mind, our spirit is asking for, right? And responding to that with kindness. So throughout this session, I will guide you through 5 dimensions of self-care. These are spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional, right? We're going to explore each one of these with a short practice and also a short reflection. We're a small group, right? So I want to invite you to open your mics and share in chat. And I would love for this to be more of a conversation than a lecture, right? So having said that, if you have a pen nearby or a pencil, a paper, a journal, a digital note taker, anything, just have it handy. We're going to be needing that. And I'm going to open my slides. I promise I won't have a lot of slides, just a few for the beginning. Okay, can you all see the slides? Fantastic. Okay, so before we dive into the core of the workshop, I would like to know from these beautiful ladies in the call, what does self-care mean for you today in this season of your life? Right? It's probably not the same that it meant 2 years ago, or maybe last month. So I would love to know today, what does self-care mean for you?
One thing that has just come up for me is I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job on the mental and emotional, my own mental and emotional self-care. It may come up later in this call again. I'll drop the physical self-care if I feel like my days are full. I try not to use the word busy, but that's what I'm saying. If I am busy, if I am full. So in this season of my life, I feel like I'm doing okay emotionally, mentally, but then I don't take care of the physical self-care. And then I want to add something, I have something that I'm working through that I'm proud of how I'm doing mentally and emotionally. And then I've realized something that I used to be good at that came up in the last 2 days is being aware that my partner is also going through it. And so if I feel like he's being impatient, I'm telling him what I need. And it took me a while to realize he might be stressed and he doesn't speak the way that I speak. And so I also, I know some cues to recognize how do I also tell him what I need and also do the same, reciprocate the same.
I love it.
Everyone knows how to tell people, hey, I'm stressed, or hey, they're just, especially the masculine. And so in this season of my life, it's, I could use a little bit more of the physical and then understand other people also need what I need right now.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I love that. And, now in just a few minutes, we're going to do like a self-care check-in, right? To see like where we're at. But I think it's so valuable to know where we are in order to ask for what we need. Otherwise, it's very hard to ask for what we need. Lisa, do you have anything that you want to share?
Pardon me, I have a frog all of a sudden. Sorry. Yeah, I do. So it varies a lot, but and I can look over time and see how much it's changed from just pushing through everything and not giving myself a lot of self-care in any area, to having a much bigger awareness of what I need now, and trying to give that and not looking for other people to give it to me, so being outside of a relationship for over a year now, it's very unique to be like independent in my own bubble of self-care, if you will. So, but I think if I could give it a theme throughout life, it's been like on the spiritual, emotional side more than the physical side. So it's as if I'm saying like my spirit is more important than my physicality.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Joe?
My turn. Well, everything Sarah said resonated for me. So as I said, I want to tell you this, I'm on week 1 of doing weightlifting, and I did 5 days this week. So that's new, guys. And I can see a difference. So if you're ever considering it, please do, in the sense of accomplishment. But what I think one of the biggest things I can do is get control of my mind enough that I can come out of the swirl of things that might be upsetting you. And then I can observe what's happening a bit so that I can kind of forgive myself if I snapped at somebody or I cut somebody off or something, and realize that's not how I want to be, and how I can kind of go forward and work on my inner strength rather than being, taking on the energies around me if they're not great energies. Do you know? Like, my husband and I use the example of traffic. because where we live here, the traffic is pretty interesting. People look like they're doing it on purpose to you and stuff like that, right? Like, how do you keep your mind, you know? But if I can get to it in a few words, it would be is find the way to come up and out of the emotion and observe the experience and forgive both sides of whatever's going on there.
Nice.
So it's not natural for me, so I'm really working on that one.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, as you can see, like self-care, it's so personal, right? Like it's very, very different for each one of us and what it means to me in this season of my life, which mainly is finding time for myself by myself, right? That might be extremely different from what you all need and what that means for you. And so that's why I'd like to call it an art, right? It's not a rigid formula. It's not like physical plus spiritual, then I'm going to be okay, right? It's more about being creative, and it's an evolving practice as well. So I would love to do a mini self-care check-in, right? So before we do that, I would love to share with you guys kind of what all of these dimensions, you know, really mean, or at least what's the focus that I want to give them today. So we are all holding the same map, right? So when I talk about spiritual self-care, I think about our connection to presence, to meaning, or something greater than ourselves. When I speak about physical self-care, I think about caring for our body through rest, through movement, and also nourishment. When I think about intellectual self-care, I think about feeding our minds with curiosity, growth, and also inspiring information. And when I think about relational self-care, I think about nurturing the connections that support us and uplift us. And then on the emotional, right, self-care, I think about listening to and honoring and tending to our inner feelings, right, whatever those may be. So let's do just very quickly a self-care check-in, right? You can make some notes, you know, in your journal or some mental notes, but the idea is for you guys to go through these 5 dimensions and just put them a number on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, you know, the lowest, 10 being the highest, and think about where are you, right, on this scale today? Not yesterday, not last week, not this week, today. How you woke up and how you're living your life today. So I'm going to give you just 1 minute and then, yeah.
Can you show the previous slides as I go?
Sure.
I can even take a little.
No. There you go.
Okay, thanks.
And Clara, just because of the way I'm viewing it, I just screenshot that for later, but I can't
Yeah.
see it right in, you know, this
okay.
moment. Could you repeat relational for me?
Yeah, sure. It's about nurturing the connections, right? And the relationships that actually support and uplift us, right?
Okay.
I can listen to some nice songs in the background, Sarah.
That was Danny coming to sing for us.
Ah, yes,
Thank you. I recognize his voice. I'm like, there's Danny
Absolutely.
singing.
Okay, does anyone want to share anything that came up with you for you in this check-in? Like anything surprising?
Yeah. I didn't want to commit to rating it.
Okay.
I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know. Okay, my physical, I had cold today, so it's lower, but I did good things, so it's high. You know, I just debated every single thing across the board.
Okay. Valid, completely valid. I love it.
And I like the idea. I like what we're doing. But I was like, no, you can't give yourself a 7, maybe a 3, maybe like I just went back and forth a lot. Like, what's that
Yeah.
about? Somebody, anybody?
Yeah. Well, it's not about being like super like, strict with yourself. It's just more about getting a sense of where you are today, right? Maybe you can think about it like a gradient, right? Not only like it's a rigid two, maybe it's like, oh, this is in the higher, like the highest part of this diagram, sorry. Maybe it's in the lowest. You don't have to be like super strict about the numbers. It's just about getting an idea and a sense of where you are today.
Well, I think what's good is I didn't really judge myself. I didn't think,
that's
oh,
good.
look, that and that can happen sometimes. I was just saying, well, nah. So
Yeah.
thanks for the exercise.
Of course. Of course. Okay. Any of you guys want to share anything? Or we
Yeah,
can move on.
I'll go. I loved kind of the specific descriptions, because
Nice.
physical, for example, I would have thought about movement, but I love that you put rest, movement, and nourishment, because then I thought, you know what? I do take care of my rest. I do take care of my nourishment, especially on retreats. We have really nourishing food. And so I actually, if you would have just said physical, I would have rated it lower because of the movement piece. But because of the other pieces, I'm like, I do take care of rest and nourishment. And so I gave myself a higher number.
Yay.
Spiritual side, this has come up between the people I work with. As you can imagine, I'm surrounded by spiritual people, and they live at my house during retreats. And so my relation to spirit is different. And on one scale, it's just, am I being kind? To me, spirituality starts with kindness. And then moving from there on more esoteric meanings. And so I also gave myself a high number on the spiritual. And that mostly came through reading the intellectual part of the curiosity. I put the word curiosity with spiritual because I spent a lot more time this retreat with our medicine team and asking a lot of questions. And so also on the intellectual side, I gave myself that I am feeding my mind and my spirituality really well today. I know you said today, this week, but also today.
Yeah.
On the relational, I'm glad that this is separated as well. In relation to what I was speaking about earlier, I also noticed that when my days are full, AKA if I feel busy, the way that I speak isn't as patient as what I would like. And so I'm going to take that rating and turn a lower number into a higher number by the end of the day. So thank you for that little reminder
of course.
I don't understand something, pause, and then ask questions, as opposed to, what is the first step? Tell me just what action am I supposed to do? But ask questions. And this also came up in ceremony. For example, somebody was explaining something and I go, I'm totally with you. What is my first step? We can talk later.
Yeah, love it.
Emotional side, I give myself the highest point. I feel good. And so those are my ratings. I feel good, and I'm going to turn some around today. So
thank you. One thing that resonated with me is how you connected, in a way, like your spiritual dimension with the intellectual dimension. And I think I've talked to one of our team members, he said to Andra about this the other day. It's because of the nature of the work that we do, right? Like these two things are deeply connected. And I don't know if for other teams or other people works this way, but at least for us and the work that we do, like they go hand in hand, right? Like your spiritual connection and that curiosity. Oh, I love it. Thank you for that, Sarah. Lisa, anything that you would like to share about your check-in?
Yeah. I mean, first I was surprised that I was able to give myself higher scores than I would have thought before we started, except for there was sort of a high and a low that I noticed. So the spiritual side, I feel like the highest, like I said before, like that's where I've always put the greatest amount of energy toward. So it would make sense, right? And then since doing the retreats and things, I have put even more focus towards that side. And being a medium, just every day I talk to spirit, every day I nurture a connection. So that was good, but the relational side was really low because I took that to mean with, the fellow humans and feeling support. And even though I've joined some good circles and I know I have some support, I still feel alone. So that was a lower number.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And now we're going to get, just almost at the end of the call, we're going to get a little bit into relational and like the different categories of connection, right? And, see if, maybe we can, maybe get some ideas around, how to nurture like the different types of connection that we have. Sometimes we believe that, oh, it's only friends or, teammates, or well, maybe there are other types of connection to explore, right? But thank you so much for sharing. And
Can I
sure.
share something a little silly, but I'm going to share it anyway? On the relational, the nurturing the connections that support and uplift us, I would also probably immediately think of humans. And I came back from a trip and I thought about my dog.
Yes.
And I was like, so I have an outdoor dog, super dirty. She always is jumping in the river, then sitting in mud. And so like if I'm going from my house to my car, I don't pet her because then I can't wash my hands. And so I had made the decision that at least any time that I am able to wash my hands, I'm going to pet her for a little bit longer, just to have that connection, not just for her, but for me, like all of the things. So I'm glad we mentioned, that I wouldn't have thought of that it's not just humans, it's also even plants, even.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So my dog got a little bit more love now.
All the beings.
Okay, so if I include the cats, I have a kitten now. I have 3 cats. Then I could raise the score then.
Yay. Love it. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for sharing. And know that, this checking is, a tool for you to use like, any day if you're feeling like, something is off. Okay, let's do a quick checking to see where am I in this different, categories and dimensions. And maybe, as Sarah was saying, okay, what is one small step that I can take today and, to just get a little bit, higher in this dimension. So that's a tool. This is one of the tools that I want to share with you. And what I would love to do next, I'm going to stop presenting. I would love to, just go through these 5 categories and share one simple tool that you can actually, use every day, when you just need to connect with that dimension, with the category, when you feel like a little bit off, some, small, simple things and tools that you can get, that you can take home, right? So let's start with the spiritual. And, Lisa, you've been on a retreat with Behold. Sarah, Joe, you're part of the team. So, what you've touched spiritual self-care at a very deep level, especially you, Sarah, right? Like just you're on a retreat right now. So I feel, and as you mentioned, right, like you're, deeply connected with that category and with that dimension. So I believe, spiritual self-care, it's more about finding, those anchors of presence that we can return to daily, right? Even in the midst of ordinary life, right? Even in the middle of, chaos is going on in your life, or you're in the middle of a retreat, just like finding moments of presence that you can, anchor yourself in, right? So as we did at the beginning, I would love to invite you to do another mini meditation, right? It's a focused attention practice. And this is a practice that you can use at every moment of your day just to feel grounded again, right? And so the goal of this practice, it's called focused attention, is to build focus and stability of your mind by choosing one thing to focus on, right? So that's why it's called focused attention. And in this case, we're going to be using our breath, right? So we're going to be using our breath as our anchor, right? So anytime the mind wanders, we go back to the breath and see if we can anchor our attention there. So we're going to be following, our inhale and our exhale with our attention, right? And so as soon as our mind wanders, we notice that, and then we come back with our attention to our breath. So let's get started. I want to invite you to close your eyes if you want to. Otherwise, you can leave them open with a soft focus. And again, allow your spine to lift, soften your shoulders. And let's take one deep breath in and a slow breath out through the mouth. And now as your breath goes back to its natural rhythm, see if you can start paying attention to your breath. As we did at the beginning, see if you can pay attention to the different phases of the breathing cycle. Breathing in, and then breathing out. Breathing in, the pause at the top, and then breathing out. See if you can notice the slight breaks between the breath. And do this with curiosity, just paying attention to that rising and falling sensation as the air passes in and out. Where do you feel your inhale? And where do you feel your exhale? And if your mind wanders, as soon as you notice it, come back to your breath. Remember, the breath is your anchor. Breathing in and breathing out. If any thoughts arise, just don't hold onto them. Let them go. And bring your attention back to your breathing. Okay, let's close this practice by taking a full breath in and a long and soft breath out. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Come back to our shared space. Okay, this was a simple focused attention practice, right? Just following the breath, right? And this can bring you back to the present moment at any day, at any time of your day, right? It doesn't have to be long. This was like a couple of minutes long, and it can sometimes help us, get grounded again and just, be back to the present moment. And it can actually help you shift your state as well. Question for the group. Do you consider yourselves meditators? Like, do you meditate regularly?
Yes.
Yes. Nice, nice. And do you practice any meditation in particular? Like, do you follow like any type of meditation or anything that you can find, anything that shows up for you?
So I was lucky enough to find a teacher that studied under one of the Indian gurus that taught the Beatles how to meditate in the 60s. And
Wow.
it is such an amazing technique. It is so beautiful. And it's so easy. It's simple. You can do it in a few minutes, or you can dedicate more time to it. But you do it 3 times a day, like morning, afternoon, or early evening, and then before bed. And
Nice.
it's like nothing has ever put me back to myself and like feeling good, So I've been doing this since December. It's
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. The guru that taught the Beatles. That's amazing.
Yeah, yes. And I should know his name because this teacher says it all the time, but it's been a minute since I'm in the class.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
and it's amazing. You've been doing this since December. It's been a really long time. Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
One thing that, I was asking this question because sometimes, the answers that I get is like, no, like it's either it's too hard to meditate, or I don't have the time, or, I don't have 30 minutes to sit down, and just like meditate. And I like to think that, these small, short practices, are also a way of meditating and then connecting with, the present moment and ourselves. And it can be done anywhere. You don't have to be like sitting down, legs crossed, and have like this mantras
Correct.
on the background. Like it could be, at any point of the day that you feel that you need, an extra help, right?
Yeah.
To get grounded. And I don't know, Lisa, if you're part of our WhatsApp community, but we've shared there also like a ton of resources of, meditation tracks and meditation apps. You have, you follow your own meditation lead, and that's awesome. And if you ever want to explore, other things, they're there as well for you.
Yeah, not that I wouldn't do other meditations, just this is the first time that I got out of the category of people who said, I can't meditate because I can't settle my thoughts, right? So I always did guided meditations because that was easy. You just let your mind go with the guide. But to do this and not have a guided meditation and also not be worried about your thoughts.
That's amazing.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, but I will definitely do others too, There's so much beautiful support in that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, Sarah, anything that you would like to share before moving to physical self-care?
You're on mute.
Joe, I was like, I might.
I found that when I need to meditate, sometimes my brain is impatient. And so I've got a couple voices that I like how they start. They don't tell me find a comfortable place to sit where you're not, they don't spend 3 minutes saying that same crap all the time, because I can't, my brain is like, so I have a female and a male. And I think I've actually shared the female with Sarah before. And just they're my keys to me for sure. One of them helps me get back my power, and the other one helps me forgive, so yeah, I'm more than happy to share. Lee Harris is an Australian fella, and Sarah Blondin is a Canadian fella that I listen to. So, but yeah, I think I would like to focus on that more on a daily basis.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And one thing that comes to mind is, especially when we listen to guided meditations, it's so personal, right? Like sometimes you're like, this voice, no, let's change. And then you spend like 10 minutes, looking for the right voice. So I'm happy that, you have your people, right? Like you have, guided meditations that work for you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice.
I will share with you guys what sounds like an oxymoron. I have found competitive meditation. If you didn't know this about me, I'm a little competitive.
Okay.
So I actually have bought a headpiece that measures the length at time at which I'm meditating. It can even, it reads my brain frequencies, the waves, a heart-brain coherence. And so I'm only competing with myself, but it has given me excitement to go put it on and see if I got better. So, because meditation is hard to quantify, and maybe we shouldn't be. However, I do believe in motivation and encouragement, and currently this is what is motivating me because I love it. But the style of the meditation is one of using no words.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's an important meditation because when I don't speak to myself or to God, if I'm praying, or to the universe, if I'm manifesting, or to my spirit, if I'm doing affirmations, when I quit speaking, that's when I hear my spirit, when I hear God, when I hear the universe. And so this headgear has helped me really practice and hone in on not talking to myself, not talking to myself. It's really brilliant. It can also tell me when I fall asleep. And then all of a sudden, they'll start talking. Hello, wake up. Like, you're right.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
Where
I'm doing
did you-
competitive meditation.
Where did you get that?
I'll send it to you. It's called Sense AI.
Oh,
SENSAI.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love
There's
it.
so many tools out there, right? So many things. But I listen to the three of you, and it's like, okay, each one of you has found something that works specifically for you in this season, in your life. So that's amazing. I would love to, like Joe, if you can share later those meditations. If you, Lisa, can share as well, and Sarah, like, we can put them all together in our tools for the recap email later. That would be fantastic. Okie dokie. Let's move on to physical self-care. I like to think that our bodies are kind of the foundation of our well-being, right? Like, when we take care of our body, we're not only healthier, but we are happier, we're more resilient, and we can even be a little bit more creative as well. And as we talked at the beginning, like, physical self-care is not only about movement, right? And working out. It's about the small everyday choices that allow our body to feel safe, to feel nourished, and to feel energized. So some examples of physical self-care are prioritizing consistent quality sleep, right? So your nervous system can reset, moving our body, right? In ways that can feel joyful, right? It can be working out, and also it could be dancing, right? In your living room, or walking in nature, or do a yoga practice. It means choosing foods, right, that give you sustained energy rather than quick spikes and crashes. Allowing yourself to rest, and truly rest, right, without guilt. Sometimes it's hard, right? And even hydration, right? Something simple as drinking enough water during the day. It's actually a form of self-care, which we tend to forget. Look at Sarah's face. Yay, hydration.
This is not water.
This is with me 24/7. Anybody who knows
Love
me.
it. Love it. And I would like to hear from you. Now that we've been through this list, like, what are your main ways, or some of the ways in which you actually practice this physical self-care? I can start because I'm asking you to share, but I'm not sharing. As I shared recently with our team, I love rock climbing, and I train for that a couple of times a week, and I go to the gym. And it's something that for me is just kind of like on the foundation of my well-being, because it's not only a sport, but it's actually a sport that actually helps me connect with my spirit and with our mind as well. So yeah, climbing, that's definitely on my list, as well as trying to rest as much as I can with a 1-year-old baby. So anytime she sleeps, I'm like, okay, bye. She's napping, I'm napping. So those are my main things.
Speaking of water, I will share a practice I do with water. because it's us. And also the energy that we put into our lives. And frequently when people are about to eat, they pray over their food or they put good energy into their food. And so a little thing I do that's kind of silly, but before, when I drink water, I go, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then I drink the water.
I love that. I really like that.
Something I started doing about 3 months ago with my husband. We've had some medical issues. I had a knee surgery and he had a hernia, so we're not surfing. We're not going to yoga. We're just feeling our age. But there is a sauna in town that you can go to. And I live in a very hot town, so you wouldn't think that'd be the way, but we go and sit in the sauna and then we soak in the cold plunge and then sit in the sauna and soak in the cold plunge. And it's helped me a lot stop my day. And I used to stop my day by playing sports or something or doing something active. And without that tool lately, the sauna and cold plunge has helped. And what's been really neat is we've had a strong sense of community there. The people that are there at the same time every day, I've been learning a lot of stuff from them and hearing their good habits and things like that. So it's a new habit for me, but it's been really helpful. It's not cheap, but it's been helpful.
Yeah, I've done that before. And it's great. It's great for the body. It's kind of a reset, right? It's really nice. And I like, what you're saying about, taking care of our bodies. And when we think about physical self-care, we're about like, okay, let's go surfing, let's go climbing, let's do things, like let's move. And maybe it's about doing less and still, right, take care of our bodies.
Yeah, like your body tightens up, it holds stress, I've lost mobility in my neck in the last 6 months. I didn't realize by not being at yoga. So just, preventing some of that stuff. If anybody's over 30, those are all good things to think of, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, we have 10 minutes left. And we still have a few, categories I want to walk you through. But I just want to ask you, which ones do you think like I should cover for sure? We have intellectual coming up, we have relational, and then we have emotional. Is there anyone in particular that you would like me to start with? Just to make sure, that I cover as much as I can in the last 10 minutes. No.
I mean, for me, I'm like relational or emotional. I don't know if anybody else has a vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's go with relational then. I'd like to think of, relational self-care that as a reminder, right? That we don't heal, we don't grow or integrate alone, right? Our relationships and the quality of our relationships are one of the biggest predictors of long-term well-being. So self-care here, it doesn't mean spending time with more people, but maybe think about the right people, right? Those people that nourish us, that support us and help us expand, right? A lot of research shows how meaningful relationships increase our capacity to heal, to grow, to be more resilient, to regulate our nervous system, and give us actually a sense of belonging, right? And as I mentioned at the beginning, there are different types of relationships that sustain us. The first one are the experts, right? And these are the people with knowledge who guide us and teach us, right? These are the people that, have licenses or degrees or have studied some topic in, like really deeply, right? Have studied expertise and can help us avoid common pitfalls, right? And direct us towards useful information or useful practices, right? What I think here is, think about maybe teachers that you have, right? Guides, you can say doctors, right? So these people who have very, very specific knowledge. So that's the first category. The second category are the non-credentialed experts, right? And these are people who have lived similar experience to our experience, right? Who have been on the same path as we have and can actually relate to what we're going through at the moment. Does that make sense? Like the difference between these two categories? Okay. The third category are the resonant relationships. And these are the people who inspire us and hold us accountable. And these are the people that can actively help, support, and encourage positive change, right? These people that, okay, you're trying to create a habit, to build a habit, to make a big change in your life. These are the people that actually help you sustain and achieve that change. And last but not least, the choir. Who's the choir? The choir is the people that we trust deeply, right? The people who celebrate us and the people that sing the song we sing, right? The people that we feel completely safe around. The people that we would call in, when the best news come or the worst news hits, right? These are the people that we lean on. And so there's one thing that I would like to ask you right now to do, if you can take some notes, is think about your choir. Who is your choir? Who's the people that form that are part of that choir? See if you can take a minute or so and write them down. Okay, maybe there are a few things that came up for you as you were writing about your choir. Maybe for some of you, it's a small group. It's, a tiny group of people. Maybe you can feel some gratitude, rising as you write their names. Maybe you can notice that it's different from a few years ago. It's a different choir. Some of you maybe include family, or some of you maybe include friends, or none. Maybe you included a pet, as Sarah was saying, right? Maybe you included a name of the divine, someone who passed away. It can be very different from all of us. But now that you have a few names in there, I would love to go a little bit deeper with a gratitude practice. Okay, how does that sound? So see if you can bring to mind one person that you feel really grateful for right now. It could be someone who supports you, someone who inspires you, or someone that makes your life brighter. See if you can take a moment and close your eyes and picture their face. Feel their presence. And notice what's like to hold them in your awareness. What's happening in your body when you think about this person. And now silently say, thank you. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for how you've touched my life. And let's take one collective breath with that person in your heart. Exhale. Okay. You can open your eyes. And if you want, you can write down their name to have it close to you today. Or even you can reach out later today and let them know that you appreciate them. That's one message. Can be, a simple act of self-care for yourself and that person. Gratitude is such a powerful practice. And I'd like to call it a practice because, just being aware of what's around us and the people that we have around us can actually do us a lot of good, and also for other people. So it was lovely to see you with your eyes closed and smiling when you were thinking about that person. The three of you had a beautiful smile. So does anyone want to share anything about the types of connections or the type of relationships, that I was mentioning before? Or maybe something about the choir that you wrote down?
Okay, I'll share first. I think throughout this entire call was an accumulation of like data points that came together just then. Earlier, I spoke about taking care of my own emotions, that I'm feeling really good with how I am doing by listening, honoring, and tending to my own inner feelings. And saying that out loud made me recognize that, for example, I can express, I'm really stressed right now. I think cortisol is running through my body. Or saying things like, I'm sad right now. Recognizing that some people in my life don't do that. Some people in my life won't say I am stressed, or they won't say I am sad. And it reminded me that a lot of people in my life are incredible, and sometimes incredibly strong people, we forget to ask them how they are. And so that awareness of not everyone communicates how I do, and so to look out for that a little bit. And yesterday I was on a call with an incredible woman who has vast experience, and I was able to like dig in on something I hadn't been able to express verbally before. And so that was my choir that I thought of today. I want to say, Joe, I would think you are amazing. And I probably don't ask you how you are often enough because you're so strong. And so thank you, thank you. Thank you for your wisdom, for your love, your experience, and for telling me when I'm acting sideways. I really value that as well.
That didn't happen. Very nice. Yeah, I think we forget about the strong people, hey? Or I think people that come out strong often can be really fragile inside, So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think I am that person for so many people, and I don't really have, besides spirit and animals, I don't have like a human choir in my everyday life. But the person I was thinking about is my son in spirit, and how he is inspiring me, and how every day we commune every day, and how lucky I am, to experience him in life, and also experience his soul.
Love it. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
One of the things I wanted to share is I know that we hear it all the time, gratitude is the way, or be grateful, all these sorts of things. But that cold plunge is teaching me to be grateful, because you're like, I'm sure glad I'm out of that damn thing, or just a little bit of like, I'm so glad I have my animals. I'm so glad I have my car works today. I'm so glad, my husband's healthy today. A little bit of something taken away helps you realize how lucky you are to have it. And so I try to think of that, and it helps move chemicals in my body to be grateful. It helps me feel better. So, and what we're trying to do a tiny bit here, I'm in a downturn in a tourism cycle. And so that means we have less money, and you could be afraid and all those things. What we're trying to do is create our life here where we hardly need anything at our house. It's really simple stuff. We don't need new clothes. We don't need fancy things, and trying to keep simple. And it's a lot easier for my husband, I think, because he's very creative. He draws things and plays music and this and that. And so I'm trying to build those habits. And we did a puzzle this morning during breakfast. And now I have this drum I have to play, and it becomes quite apparent who's the natural talent and who's not. By my house has heard it. They're like, "What? Do you have children?" Oh, shush, no. That was my drum. So yeah, but anyways, finding simple pleasures and being thankful for them, and yeah, simple moments too. Hey, that breathing sure brings you back to simple moments. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. It's the top of the hour. I don't want to keep you guys extra time. I value your time and I appreciate you all being here and sharing and opening your hearts. I'm going to be sharing a lot of information in our recap email with some extra tools, especially around the intellectual self-care, which I really like because it's more about focusing on, okay, how are we growing our creativity, right? Like, how are we keeping ourselves curious, right? So that's one thing, and then some tools on the emotional side, that can help us, like some practical tools to just pay attention to the emotions as they are, rising, and honoring our emotions instead of trying to like change them or suppress them. Like, I don't want to feel this. So I'm going to be sharing all of that via email in the next few days. Thank you so much for being here. It's been amazing. I hope I can, I shared some tools that you can actually use in your everyday life and continue working on your self-care. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Clara. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. I hope you all have an amazing weekend, filled with self-care, whatever that means to you in this season of your life.
Bye,
See you all
guys.
very soon.
Thank
Take
you
care.
so much.
Ciao.
Ciao.